many other connotations, it gets lot of confusion comes there. A couple of days back, I was listening to one that professor's lecture. He is that Edwin Bryant from Rutgers on Raj Yoga, that Patanjali's yoga aphorisms. So, and he mentioned this, that now it is time that we should use these Sanskrit terms. We have already started using the Sanskrit terms like karma. We don't need to translate it anymore in English. So many of these terms now should be used in English. It was all right during Swami Vivekananda's time. He had to use English. But now, with the passage of time, and America has now become more conversant, more acquainted with many of these things, it is time to get rid of this colonial baggage. He used the word this colonial baggage, and start using these terms, and gradually these terms will then acquire the right meaning. Otherwise, it is a bit confusing that whether it should be called the self. We call that it is Chetan, Chit. Now, how to translate it? It gets translated variously, like the knowledge or consciousness or awareness. But everything of each of these English words has its own baggage. It is not therefore, it does not therefore express what is intended in that Sanskrit word. But anyway, let us see what this translation says. The description of Prakriti is as follows. It is called Prakriti because it is the root substance. It is the root substance that doesn't get seen by us, means we do not become aware of it. The root substance is there, but we do not get aware of it. For example, you are eating, say, pieces of bread, and then the same dough was used to make some cookies as well. Now, what you see is not dough. You do not see that dough, the flour, the base material there. It is, you are not aware of it. Nobody says, what, Richard, do you say that I ate a fistful of flour today? You say, well, I had my bread, it is. Yeah, it is because it is unmanifest, avyakta. The Sanskrit word is avyakta. So it is there, but it is not expressing, it is not felt by us as an entity. We see only the manifestations. It is because our senses, they see the various qualities like shape, visual, perception, audio perception, the taste, this touch and smell. So we will come to that. So if something has that, then only we perceive it. Look at the tremendous limitations on our perception. And we say we don't see God because your perception is so limited that you can see only these 5 things. You can get the sense of only these 5 things, nothing more than that. And therefore, our senses cannot comprehend that which has none of these, which has not been characterized by any of these things. So, there is this potential for its manifestation, that it will be, it gets modified, and then we see only that modification, nothing more than that. Like we get, confused by what we see. I was so shocked when I heard this statement that in my college days, it is the idea that as a student of science and all that, that it is what we see is true. I see it with my own eyes. It must be true. One Swami told, well, your science should tell you that because you are seeing it, it is not true. Oh my goodness, what are you telling? Then he explained that what is just see the process of seeing. It is something, whatever you call it, photons or rays or light waves, that is from the object, it is affecting your retina or the instrument eye. And then that is carried on to the brain, and that titillation gets further converted. An imaging process, a software is there. That program generates the image. It is interesting to see the psychology of seeing, It is an image software there. And so, the two-dimensional gets converted into three dimensions. If it is modified, then it will get converted into 4 dimensions or 5 whatever, the way your software is. The programming determines. The object doesn't have 3 dimensions or 4 dimensions or 1 dimension. It is the imaging program that is installed, and then it gets synchronized with the imaging programs of other instruments like touch. One may say, well, but I can see that the chair has actually 3 dimensions by my touch. How can you say that it is only the only visual imaging that makes me see that? Well, it is there is this synchronization of all different softwares, different programs that are used by 5 senses, so that we get a real sense. Yes, it is this. So, one has to be conscious of that this is only the modification that is seen through the sense organs. Like many get, the MRI, that you take an MRI. And now what is happening there? It is the magnetic resonance gets, mapped. And then there is the imaging software. It gives the image which the doctors see. It is, but then that is not what is being done by that magnetic resonance. It is giving the modifications, and then they get mapped into a visual image. Same thing with, like the ultrasound. That is not visual. It is an imaging software is put there to get the visual output from it. So it is like that. So it is Unmanifest, therefore, our sense organs can never perceive. I had a big argument about that. Suppose we develop our science enough to see this unmanifest. Can we see the unmanifest by the development of our science? It is not possible at all in principle itself, because all our science and the reasoning that is built on it is based on these limitations of these sense instruments. And whatever you do, that limitation still remains. You cannot just overcome that limitation. This is a very important thing to understand, that we have a saying in our language, if the well is dry, the well has not a drop of water. Now, whatever may be the shape of your pot by which you are going to get that water out, if there is water, it may come out. Otherwise, the nature of pot doesn't, make you get it if there is not there. So, if the sense organs do not have something in their nature, howsoever our intellect may be able to have this different modifications, that will not be able to get to the nature of Prakriti. So we will not be able to see it. So it is unmanifest. But it gets manifested when it comes to the level of our sense organs. There is the potential for it. So that is what it says. It is called Prakriti because it is the root substance of all objects. It is also known as Pradhana, or the principal entity, because it is anterior to all distinct objects. Yeah, it is that. And then this comes through what is called the three gunas. It is anterior to all distinct objects which are only its evolutes. It is without distinctions of any kind. It is underlying substance of everything, without distinction, but causes all distinctions. That is an important thing. It causes all distinctions, and that is where it is not exactly same as Purusha or Brahman. It is not Brahman, which is not, doesn't have any cause-effect thing. Prakriti, yes, it causes because it has these three gunas. It is then, it is before everything, and thus, this Prakriti is distinct from the Brahman. It is within the Brahman as such. It is power of Brahman. To describe it, it is used as this expression, power, Shakti of this one without second reality. This is the important idea here, that Prakriti is associated with Brahman as its power. But it is not exactly Brahman. There is, you cannot specify the distinction, but this is the distinction you can think of, that Brahman is not a cause of anything. It doesn't have three gunas, but it is the Prakriti that manifests in these different modes. That is why I have put the picture of a prism there. The three sides that are seen of the prism. So they are like Swami Vivekananda describes it as time, space, causation. That's a great discussion, friends. So deep, so simple. Both, Swami Vivekananda's that lecture, and you can read it in Jnana Yoga, Absolute and Manifestation, that chapter. That how these three, this is the awareness, the consciousness percolating through this Prakriti, has these three dimensions, three gunas, and you can, it is time, space, causation. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, they cannot be equated with time, space and causation. But even before time and time, space, causation, this Prakriti has these modifications. So, which generates multiplicity, the variety. The variety. You see, the ignorance generates the idea of different forms, the shapes, a variety. Variety is this form. You can feel by any sense, like a blind will not be able to see the form, but it will have a tactone form, a touch form. It is, one can have an audio form. It is, you can generate an audio form like a bat does. Bat's world, bat doesn't have eyes. It uses only the sound waves to map everything. All forms are created through not these visual waves or electromagnetic waves, but the sound waves. It is the sound waves have different nature. They are the longitudinal waves. I don't want to get into technicalities, but they they generate form with that. So you generate the forms, and then the variety is seen. But the identification of variety comes by another thing that is called name. Name. It is nothing else there. There is only form and name. You give a name, and therefore it becomes an identification. Yogatmananda, say, decades ago, the form has undergone a lot of change. Yeah, the last time at the that DMV, when I went to get the license renewed, they said, well, now you have to take a new picture, because the form has changed. But the name identifies that it is the same person. It is the same thing, although nothing is really same there. Just the name gives it an identification. That is how the name and form generate this terrible bondage for us. The form gives the multiplicity, changing multiplicity. So it shouldn't have any identification, keeps on changing. Where you are appreciating the change, you are conscious of the change, then you don't see the identification. Like you see the wave rising, falling. And now you don't say that wave because it is already gone. There is no that wave. But with most of the things that we get acquainted with in this world, we form relationships with that. That this is my spouse, this is I, and this is my spouse. Now the things keep on shifting all the time. The connection shifts, the understanding shifts, but yet I, and that is my so and so, this is my child, this is my dad, this is my mom, this is my friend, this is my foe. All these come because of this name. So all this is the manifestation of these three gunas. Now he continues the description that evolution of Prakriti and time. So this is the how it happens. There are these 24 principles have been described by the both Vedanta as well as Sankhya. It is, but the Sankhya say that Purusha is also a separate principle. So Purusha and then this Prakriti 24 principles. So how they are? 5 elements and 5 subtle elements, and which is called in Sanskrit Tanmatra. Means that alone, the subtle elements is the essence of these. Like for example, I mentioned earlier that we have this reality of the world based on this perception of 5 senses. That is how Vedanta says that the world has only 5 elements. I used to have that doubt long ago, that what is this? My chemistry book says that we have, at that time it was 105 elements. And then now they are probably 150, I don't know. So it is, and you say only 5 elements. Those sages must have been ignorant. No, friends. They have a conclusive knowledge. How many elements, our understanding will keep on shifting. Right now, so many. Next moment, another element can be made or can be found. And then your understanding changes. You go to, like there are these spaceships on Mars, and they are doing some experiments. Some elements unknown to on Earth will be found there. So many elements. But the understanding, the analysis of Vedanta is so piercing. It is to analyze you. It is like a cutting by a knife, that is called analyzing, to see what is inside it. It is, and Vedanta has a really simple but tremendously fine knife to do that, this analysis. Just look at your experience. The first point in that is that the only way you know that the world is. What you know? How do you know that the world is? What, Abhijit? How do you know that the world is? Exactly, because we perceive it, we experience it. There is absolutely no other proof, friends. The world is for me because I experience it. Okay, now analyze that experience. It is. Yeah, Kant has given that critique of pure reason and critique of practical reason and so forth. Vedanta gives critique of experience. Critique of experience. Just analyze your experience. You say you experience this world. And we saw that this experience means you see it. One way of experiencing is seeing it. So there is an element in what you experience that affects your sense of vision. That is one element. It is called technically as the fire. It is not the regular fire, it is a technical name, fire. Then there is this sense of space that we have, because of which we have this sound. You hear. The world is there, I hear so many things. So there is an element there. Something in the world affects your sense of hearing. Get it? Then there is other element that affects your sense of touch. That is called Vayu. That affects your hearing is called Akasha. That affects your sense of touch is called Vayu. These are technical names. And then something that affects your sense of taste. This world is real because I can taste it. It is so it has some element, something in the world that affects my sense of touch. Then I smell it. Well, that is another element. There is something in the world that you smell it. What is then left of this world except these 5 elements? So, this is a complete, thorough, ultimate analysis of this, how many elements are there in the world for human beings. For some creature which has only, say, 3 senses, the world will have 3 elements. Somebody who has 10 will have 10 elements. Because it is, see how fundamental is this analysis. The world is because I experience it. Now let me analyze the experience. What do I experience? These things. So this world is made of how many elements, Rosio? How many elements? Yes, the world is made of how many? No. That is lot of elements, but actually we say that how many? 5 elements only. These are the 5 elements. That is the discussion here. 5 elements. So probably you were not listening this discussion. Okay, listen to the recording afterwards. That 5, there is nothing more than the 5 elements.
I was thinking about the chemistry.
Well, that is why keeps on shifting and changing all the time. How many? They are therefore cannot be, that knowledge is therefore not a real knowledge at all. If it keeps on shifting and changing. So, it is thus. There are 5 senses and 5 elements, because of which we see the world, we experience this world. So analysis of this experience tells us it is just 5 elements and their qualities. These are the subtle elements. It is
Five senses, but I see a lot of elements.
no. You see only 5 things. There is nothing more than that. It is all is included in that. It has something that affects your vision, it has something that affects your sense of sound, it has something that affects your sense of touch, something that affects your sense of taste, something that affects your sense of smell. Apart from these 5, there is nothing else there. So, this is how deep this analysis is. It is very important to, understand this. It is, yes, yeah, one has to understand this. It is a simple thing, just apply, apply the brain, apply. It is for many, one of our Swamis used to say that as human beings we have the brain as our structural aspect. It has to be made a functional aspect too, otherwise it stays just a structural aspect without doing anything. So, when we think, we see that that is how this world is. It is thus 5 elements, and then these 10 organs. How are these? These 10 organs, 5 organs of knowledge, that is, the ears, the eyes, the touch, smell, and taste. Yeah, these 5 are there. Then there are the organs of action. They are also 5. The hands is one organ, the speech is another organ, the legs is another organ, then the organ of excretion is there, and there is the organ of procreation. There is 5 organs of action and 5 organs of knowledge. So these are the 10. And then there is the basic integrating program, that is called the inner organ. Antakaran is the Sanskrit word for that, which has these 4 modes of functioning. That is, now we have finished our time for the day. This class actually we have overshot a little bit, but therefore these 4 modes of inner organ and then other things we shall try to discuss next Friday. Now we will afterwards ask the question, Yeah, now let us conclude with the closing prayers. And निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुर्मुहुः रसिका भुवि भावुकाः. O devotees, quaff to intoxication this nectar of the fruit of the tree of Vedas, flowing from the mouth of the great sage Shuka and mixed with the ambrosia from his words. Sometimes I will tell the story of this, what is the meaning of ambrosia, mixed with the ambrosia from this mouth of the Shuka. But anyway, please, if you have any questions, you can ask. Is there any question there up?
There are two questions.
Okay, please announce.
First question from Fred Richardson.
Yes.
What is the relation between Prakriti, Mahat, Buddhi and Manas in Vedanta? And
Oh,
how are they to be meditated on?
oh, okay. Very good question. But they don't need to be meditated upon. The relation will be described in our next class or so, but there is no need to meditate upon them. Just meditate that all this is the play of God. God is manifesting as all this, the Brahman or the Self or the God, and meditate on God. That should be the object of contemplation and meditation, and not Mahata, etc. They are for understanding, okay, but Prakriti, Mahat, and all those things are not to be the objects of meditation for a devotee. This book, Bhagavatam, is basically a book of devotion, bhakti. So, the meditation, as told here, is on God, and feel the love for that God in the heart. It is the other things are mentioned to get this conviction, and we will discuss about Mahat and other things later. They will come in the discussion later, as they say here, that we will cross the bridge when we get there. So, okay, thank you, Fred.
Question from Chris Bartolotta.
Yes.
Pranam Maharaj. When speaking of Divine Mother, we say she is Shakti, Prakriti, Maya, but
Yeah.
also that she is the absolute Brahman. Is the term Maya the same in Tantra as in Vedanta?
It is the same term here. It is this discussion is for understanding the relatively different functions. That's all. It is relatively different, like you described. They are one. Holy Mother and Sri Ramakrishna, Brahma and Shakti, they are one. Agreed, Chris. But now the difference is described. As Sri Ramakrishna used to tell, that the snake which is coiled up, and the snake that is running, chasing a prey. Now they are same snake, but they have now the different functions are emerging there when it is chasing a prey, running about. So similarly, the Brahma, without the adjuncts of Prakriti, they are all unmanifest. Now you don't perceive them. When that aspect gets activated, like fire and its burning power. So, as just fire, this word doesn't burn you. Even the picture of fire doesn't burn you. But when the fire actually affects you as its burning power, then it gets separated in our understanding, fire and burning power. So, Maya or Prakriti are the same words. In different contexts, the different word is used. It is like in Shvetashvatar Upanishad, it says, Mayam tu Prakritim Vidyam Mayinam tu Maheshwaram, that they know that the Prakriti is Maya. Maya is the Prakriti, and the Lord of it is the Lord, God, the Purusha, or whatever other name you can use. Yeah. Thank you. Just what you want to say, Rusio? Nothing. Okay, okay, okay. Yes, Prithvish, you have a question? What? Yeah, 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 correct. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yes, it will change. I mentioned that if it is if some creature is there who has only three senses, this will change. The number will change there. This is for human beings. This analysis is for human beings. Correct? Yeah. Any other question? Okay. So we shall conclude with the closing chant. मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल।